So you look at the 18 months then.
It was always about promotion, right? I feared, looking back, I should have made a call that was different.
What do you make of that first meeting?
The best thing I remember feeling was that these boys want to learn. Then I got, and I was like, oh no, I'm going to have to do this.
I thought Frank's going to do it. He's going in. It was our moment to go hard.
You had your moulds on and I had my metal studs.
If I'm going to do something, I'm going to do something, right?
I want to see you sweat. I'm going to see you suffer a bit.
Well, it's worked out for me. Beautiful. Thanks very much.
You're pro at that, Doug. You should get your own podcast.
It was a beautiful day for it.
Yeah.
So how was Sunday then?
Yeah, amazing. I loved it.
So how you thought it would go? So just the atmosphere and...
No, I think my fear with those things is that they're any form of an anticlimax when you know you've done it before. You know, like we've had 3 now, where we had Blackburn was like an explosion of emotion, which was amazing, right? Doing it away from home. I always wanted to do, I wanted to do it away from home, but when it became clear we might do it away, I like the idea of that, like the core fans that travel, celebrating. I did it at Chelsea once, the Bolton's our first one, and it was amazing, and it was like that, but 7,500 for us was unreal, and then Portsmouth I thought was special as well in another way, and then so you do get to the third one, but you go, the fact that I think we had all the families, the cup, obviously the lift, I thought it was done brilliantly. Credit to everyone who did that. I thought it was spot on. Loved it.
So you just kept it going, didn't you? You just extended it, kept doing these great little moments, and then the trophy. I agree with you on Blackburn. Black was like, I had a moment I was thinking, well, it's a long way there. They're all ready for it, and it's 85 minutes. It's 1-0.
Yeah, I had that.
Thinking it all set up, and then it wasn't set up. But then it was quite. I was more emotional, I think, like you then, even though I knew it was mathematically done, but it just to do it in a way that was a positive way rather than a...
I mean, I think it was always about promotion, right? When we said at the start of the year or whatever, that's the dream. So that was probably why we had the time. I wouldn't say it was a stutter before that, but you could feel it in the performances, right? Sheffield Wednesday, a little bit of Hull. So I think that I was like you at 80 minutes. Because you're trying to go over the game. I played a back 3. I felt that was right. It wasn't perfect in the first half, and I felt that. So kind of stewing on that. They score, we change the system, we push, but you wonder if it's 7,500 people going to go home going, oh, I've got to wait till next week or whatever, and we've let them down to some extent.
And they were so ready for it, weren't they?
Yeah.
And all the air went outside, it's today's going to be the day, and then suddenly it was like, maybe it isn't going to be the day.
But that is fate, right, a little bit, and sometimes I believe in that. And I also, having done it before as a player specifically, I remember that kind of nervy feeling. I remember how the lads felt in that first half at Blackburn. I had similar. So I was by no means holding it against them. I mean, I wouldn't anyway. But when I look back, I kind of go, was it meant to be? Big Bobby comes up with that. And even Torpy, coming on with the delivery. Torpy was such a big part to the first half of the season. Yeah. And of course, second half, he hasn't played as much as he'd want. But we all know what he is. And him to deliver that quality, Bobby to do that, and the uproar there,
which is perfect.
And then we didn't know what to do. Do we keep the ball? Do we try to score another one? Grimesy asked me.
It was like you were just at the vat going, yes.
I didn't know. Well, I wanted to win it.
I said, come on, let's win the game.
Me too. Me too. Get greedy. So no, I think you're right. I think Blackburn was that, and then but when we've gone and done the other 2 games brilliantly, and I'm so pleased the lads played the way they've been playing for a big part of the season, because that once you release the shackles of Blackburn, that great
I agree
feeling. They came there against Portsmouth. I was worried about that game because they were on good form, and I was like, is it going to be one of those? And then they just played. As I said to them before, just play as you've been playing, lads. Yeah,
it was different. Let's take a step back to the 18 months prior to that. When I remember it. I do remember that moment because I think you came in the side entrance in Palmadini through the sort of let you in because everybody had gone home. So it was about 7 at night or 6:30 at night. Yeah. And we had a chat, didn't we? Sort of, I don't know what we chatted about. Probably not a lot. I think I was on a chat today. I said, I just like to meet people, see what they're up to, how they're thinking about themselves, what they're up to. But I mean, it was an interesting moment to. There was the opportunity there, and obviously you'd done your research on Coventry, seen, I guess it was going to be interesting to follow the Mark Robins, long duration. Yeah. What do you make of that first meeting?
I remember it pretty well, and I think when you're in this job, I've done a few job interviews as such. Ours was always felt like it was going to be a casual chat, but you never know. So I had my laptop ready for you. Like, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with your team, Doug. And then I don't think I got it out.
No, you didn't get it.
And I like that. I've had ones with a laptop, and I've had ones that are chats. I think that probably is more of a reflection of what you want out of it. And I felt that I was going into that kind of chat, more general. What am I like? What are you like? What's the fit? Like, for probably both of us a bit, right? I guess.
Yeah.
So I think it was. We've had many since, haven't we? But I remember having a good feeling coming out of it, I have to say. And probably, you know, your passion for it, your explanation of what it was, what the job was, what it meant to you, and you know, because that process had been a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
From my end, I was kind of, what's going to happen here, and I think from having that chat, definitely made me feel more comfortable about what the project was going to be. And like you said, the thing about Mark, I was very aware of his legacy, fan reaction, where I was at that point, and I wasn't fearful of it. I just wanted to get a sense of it, probably. So that first chat was probably the first chat with you and sensing what your vision was, I guess.
When you look at like a next project, like what we discussed, the squad, you've got to make a judgment call on your players. You can't influence much, right? We're in November, right? Wasn't it? Probably October, November, and so you get January to maybe tweak it if you go, well, wasn't quite what I was hoping for. So how much sort of depth did you go into sort of look at who we had in the building?
I watched every game from the season, and I watched the cup final, semi-final against Manchester United, because I wanted to see a high-level, high-pressure game, and the lads are great. I had watched that game at home, but sorry about this, but I flicked off at
3-0. I did up there as well. I was like, oh, you'll get out of here.
I got a message from a mate going, you got the game on? I went, no, it's 3-0, it's done. And then it was, so I came back to it. So I had to watch it, you know, with a coach's eye. And I watched to see it. I suppose with the squad, the general thing that was my first challenge was, what's this team going to look like with me? Because I think I considered that Mark had tried to be a back four, and then he'd gone back to a back five, and I got that because I'm a coach. I've seen it. I've been in that situation myself, because you're searching, and clearly at that point, from points gained and where we're on the table, something wasn't quite right. As we've been there, I've been on the other end of that, of losing my job. So it was trying to kind of work out is this a back four or back five squad as a makeup? Where are the strengths of it? And then I kind of like to be as confident, because I'd heard a lot of stuff about this as a really talented squad, group of players. But the position in the league didn't quite say that, so it's making a judgment call on how true that is and what impact you can have. I think I've learned that. I've probably gone into a couple of tough jobs, specifically probably going back to Chelsea. I mean, it's a different animal as an interim.
Yeah.
But when I looked at that, I probably went in and thought, I can affect this. And looking back, I should have made a call that was different in a football sense.
Yeah, interesting.
And then emotions maybe took over that. And no problem. I don't have regrets for stuff like that. I did it, and I did it with my right intentions. But I suppose, you go through a little experience like that, even with Everton, went into a relegation battle, great, came through that, learnt a lot. But this one was one I wanted to now, I wanted to get it right.
Yeah. So
you want to know the tools are there, and obviously I'm hoping that you think that I'm the man to give those tools. It's a two-sided conversation at that point, but I felt like we could do the work, and then it was important that I think you felt me out in that conversation, and vice versa a bit, I guess.
I think it's also a moment of where people are in their what they want to do. I mean, you're hugely successful over your life, and then it's a matter of, here I am again. It's Championship. It's Coventry. I've got my family in London. That sounds commute. Does he want me to move or not? How's that going to go? You're probably working in those. That is in your discussion points in your mind as to relevance of an opportunity. So I mean, how relevant was location? Let's say you've been in, I don't know, up north somewhere. Like Burnley, or long way to go, big move. Was that an influence or location?
It's definitely part of the thought process, because I had a year at Everton. I really liked my time at Everton, and when I look back, I look back with even more better feeling about it, because it's a bit, as time travels, you kind of look back at the good stuff. But I did miss my family in the end, because I've got 4 children. 2 of them are kind of flown the nest already, so they're fine. But my younger 2 are. This job is one of the worst things. Sometimes it suits a man who can travel and isn't bothered to maybe even be in different countries, let alone other side of the country. So I did think that was, I knew it was commutable as much as I needed it to be.
Yeah.
So I kind of worked that one out quickly.
Yeah.
It was much more about the football project for me in the end.
Okay.
Well, what can I?
That was
what
the big.
ways-
That was the big point. Is it's a
Yeah.
project that
Yeah.
because you're coming back in, so obviously all eyes are going to be on it, aren't they? We know that. You know that, and you go, well, here we go. Here's one. We had a hopefully. So yeah, I agree with you. So therefore, the football project was the most critical. Have I got the tools? I guess you're going to make a judgment call on what the club is. We didn't own the stadium at the time, but we've been in a good trajectory. You've been around it, hadn't we? Yeah, we did finish 9th the year prior. I mean, I always take a lot of confidence, and I took a lot of confidence from the quality of the players, is that we finished 9th for losing 5 out of the last 6. And we'd had a great run, and we'd added like Jack, Redoni to our squad at that time, and we just lost our way. So I felt like you had a reason, you had a good toolkit if we could unlock it, but we were lost. I felt at that time, and what was the first thing that you tried to do? Clarity. You obviously met them. I saw the videos, and they were looking like, oh God, it's Frank Lampard in there. I saw Fabio Tavares. Did you see that picture where he sort of like? I thought, it's like, oh my God, and it was quite like, yeah, wow, that's interesting. They're all like, they've got to be woken up, right? It's a wake up moment because you're who you are, and you're coming in to take charge. So
yeah, and I'm human too. So when I walk in that room, I don't walk in like here I am. Like,
no, you didn't at all. I remember it. You walked in very. I think I said a few words, and then you addressed them, and then it got down to business. I thought it was. I've not been through that situation. I mean, is it big fanfare? Is it not? It was like it was just, I'm down to business. Here we go.
Yeah, and that was how it was. I think to quickly jump into how I wanted to start, I wasn't. I'm quite good at blocking out noise in terms of fans that didn't want Mark Robins to leave, fans that didn't want me to get the job. I'm aware of it. I'm not stupid, but I'm good at blocking it out. So. That was one thing, and it's important to be as good at that because it can affect you, I think. But it was more clarity. I had the experience of coming in at Everton midway through a season, so I knew that I had one experience of the challenges of that, and each challenge is different. Everton was very much a confidence crisis, I can say that, of the whole club, like players. So it was like kind of trying to work out that we if hopefully we didn't have that, or if that was there, how can we change that? So that for me is personal interactions with the players. Get them on board, get them feeling that you're personable and you're coming in to help every one of them. And that's for me and the staff. We all have to play, work that one.
Yeah.
And then the next thing is clarity of the job, of the message, clarity, and strip it back. The first thing I looked at and we did was the off the ball work, out of possession, because when I watched it, that was something I found visually to be off point at that point, my opinion. But the distances were too big, we were too easy to play through, and I was like, okay, well let's get that bit sorted out because that will tighten us up.
Yeah.
Which goes into physicals and how fit we are as a group. And every manager will come in and go, I want to get them fitter. Everybody says that, and a lot of people go, well, we weren't fit enough with the old one. I know that, but we actively had to get on that one, and that's not easy mid-season.
Yeah, you said that to me.
Yeah, I felt that, and I feel that then is other things. It's not just us running the legs off them, because mid-season it's not easy to do that. But there was things, and when we spoke, didn't we, about things that we felt were important, like staying in the hotel before games, eating before games, the tiny little things. But then I'm much more thinking about the practical stuff that you do on the pitch, and then how clearly you show them visually in the meeting room why those distances are too big. How can we get more pressure on the ball? What do we want to be? And I looking back to pat ourselves on the back as staff, I would say that we were quite clear, and we got some real important things quite quickly where we wanted to get them. Like the defensive line was a big deal for us, and we got the line up the pitch. That made us look, to me, much more like.
So you focused pretty much on what you wanted to do straight away, identified that, made that change that was quite, visible to you that you wanted to do, and that sort of started it, and then you built from there. That was how you sort of approached it.
Yeah, and the best thing I remember feeling was that these boys want to learn. They wanted to, like, you can kind of get that feeling from players that are kind of going, we're half on the journey here, we're half with you. But I specifically going for a lot of the members of the squad, and it'll always be the ones that feel like they're playing straight away, because that's what football is. The other team can be disgruntled, but I didn't feel that. I didn't feel we had big numbers that weren't buying in.
Yeah.
But I did feel like when we sat with the defenders, they wanted to get the line up. They were not kind of distant to it, and they wanted to train how we did, and we had that connection was there quite quickly. We probably had that 1 month of good result, but not so good.
I think it was always going to happen like that, wasn't it? I mean, I was expecting. I mean, everybody kept asking me, "Oh, what's the expectations you set?" Frank, and I said, "Come in, have a look at it, see what he thinks, get to work, and hopefully, if we get the processes right, we'll get the results." What I say doesn't matter, does it? They're just words that you want to say. Oh, are you going to do this? And I don't think those things work, because if you do what you did and focused on the thing that you wanted to focus on first, got to know the boys a bit, which is always important. I think in business, everybody, outside of football, they come in quickly to make an impact, and they go that like a machine gun, and they haven't assessed it, and that changes quickly actually, because if you assess it, you then say, "Oh, shouldn't have done that," and then you're back, and everybody goes, "Well, why do you do that?" And then you lose it. So I think you worked really well on that first transition, because that was the hardest part for me, is coming in, and obviously how are you going to, the reaction of everybody, are they going to turn up after the excitement of it all?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the fan interaction, because obviously you've grown that. Like it feels like. I think they forced you to do one at Millwall, did they? Is that how it started?
Fist pumps, yeah.
Because have you done that previously in
No.
your? So it was a new.
Yeah.
I can see you were a novice
Got it
at it.
wrong, yeah.
I mean, I'm worse than you obviously, but you were a novice at it, because I remember it. But it was at Millwall, was it?
Yeah.
And how did it come about then? That sort of.
Well, I'd seen Milan. Did Milan do it before me on the day, like he always? Milan's like does it on his own and such. And then I got and I was like, oh no, I'm gonna have to do this. And I hadn't practiced it in my head. I hadn't done anything, and I did sort of mess it up. I did 3.5 rather than 4, or 5 after 5. I don't know. So I don't want to watch it back. So
I remember it.
History.
I thought Frank's going to do it. He's going in.
I know.
It's like,
and that was it.
I mean, it felt like. They sort of forced you, and you're a bit uncomfortable doing it, because you're that person. Actually, you're not straight in the front of it. They do it first. You follow in on the results side of it. But then it seemed to, some connection that you suddenly started having with the fan base, which I guess I didn't know it would occur so quickly after the Mark situation.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't know exactly how it was. It was authentic, because it just happened.
Yeah.
I can't even give it a moment. But I do think when I reflect on it, that maybe the whole Mark Robins leaving, and people obviously hold him in high regard, and then Frank's in. I'm sure some people were happy, maybe some people less. I think that kind of unease, once we quickly started to get to where we went, I think maybe people went, oh no, I want to get on this journey.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that hopefully they saw that I'm not here to be this, don't talk about my career too much, playing career.
Yeah.
I'm here to work. We showed that.
Yeah.
And in those early stages, I think, it's normal. The jury can still be out when you go to Cardiff on New Year's Day and draw 1-1, and it's a bit of an average performance from us. The biggest thing that happened to us, and it was by, sometimes you need, not luck, you need something to show you the way. And that's why you shouldn't take your early assessments too dramatically, because something will surprise you.
Yeah.
And what surprised me after Cardiff, can't remember the injury specifically, but there were a couple of injuries that meant I had to go to a back five.
You did. Yeah.
And then we went to back five at Norwich. Kitch played his first game.
Yeah.
And Kitch had been injured before I got in, and was sort of looking a bit disgruntled. He was upset not to play. That's Kitch.
Yeah.
And Jamie Allen.
Yeah.
And they both came in, and they were brilliant at Norwich. And we lost 2-1 in the last night. We all know that. But the performance said to me, okay, there's two boys that are fighters, and they can come in, and they've got quality.
Yeah.
And here maybe is a system that in the short term will get us results that we need to build the confidence. And so we stuck with that from that game, and Sheffield Wednesday in the Cup, win, and then we went on that win.
Incredible run.
Yeah.
As you say, and somewhat surprisingly, as you say, through a different formation than maybe you were expecting it to go. And then obviously it sort of moved us up into the action stations from maybe not thinking we might figure that year, and you're on your beginning, I guess.
Yeah. I'm a believer in you make your own luck, and like if you work hard, those things come. If you can grab them, then they work, and then you just build confidence. That's why the stadium started to get filled up more. The players started to believe.
Yeah.
My team talks are easier. The post match is easier, and everything gets a positive feeling. So and that went on that great run. It carried away with itself, which is brilliant, because that's not always the moment in football. We have moments where you're sort of toiling away, thinking you're doing all the right things, and they don't come off. So I think those little things that happened there, we became a really strong unit. We found ways of winning games, and it wasn't ugly with a back five. If we needed to be a bit ugly, we could be.
Yeah.
but then we still could create, and we would cross, and we would be big. And
it felt like it was pragmatic as well. You know, it was like, I need to do what I've got to do, and we need to get motor in, and we need a few results. And I think it didn't have to be a one way. I always feel like it was, you moved it around quite a lot, which I didn't know how that might unfold, but I think that was very effective in that in that period.
Yeah, I mean, again, honestly, the squad makeup of the centre backs we had and the players we had, at times it suited me to be able to get 3 of those centre backs because they want to play. Like, everyone wants to play. But it allowed me to get a bit of balance where I could, there you go, there's your game, and put a bit of pressure on them boys at the back, and they got comfortable with it. Yeah. I think Ephraim was injured for a while then.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, that's right.
So we were quite comfortable. I was happy. I like coaching a back 3. I like coaching. It's not a problem. I like it. Yeah. Some things are easy to explain the way you have coverage on the pitch at times, even in possession. But then I think through that run, we signed Matt Grimes. And Grimesy became the brain, and they'll maybe come on to that later in the last season, where we went back to a 4 at the right time because Grimesy was so pivotal in that. But I think he also, being how he became a leader on and off the pitch and a brain of the team, that really helped us as coaches, as staff.
Yeah, that's right. We did, didn't we, in that period? We tried to sign him a couple of years beforehand, and then he obviously made the wrong decision at that point. Yeah. but I think it was one of those moments we went aggressive on that one because we felt like we needed that sort of player, didn't we? And got him out of there as the captain, which obviously disrupted them a little bit. But I think he'd earned the right to have another go, and here he turned up with us, so that was helpful.
I didn't think we'd get him.
Didn't you?
No.
Well, you don't trust me on the negotiation,
didn't trust you at all, no.
If I'm going to do something, I'm going to do something, right? I mean, you know me now. It's like, all right then.
It's context. It's mid-season, and I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at it as a captain of a club that they weren't necessarily challenging where they were still mid-table at the time, but I was like, can this happen by the end of the month? And I spoke to Grimesy on the phone at the right time, and that made me really not sure that it was a man. It's a conversation, but I was like, this fella's really impressive. Yeah. And he really bought in, and he was like, I want to get promoted. I love that. He wasn't coming here going, and some people maybe say that things for effect. I got the real authentic feel of him. Spoke to a few people about him, and I was like, wow, this fella, everyone's saying the right thing about him, and we all loved him, didn't we? And we got him.
Yeah, always love watching him play, and obviously the person that he was, and he's been captain for a long time that you don't get unless you're that quality. So that was great. So we got him in. So that was good. Let's go to the obviously we got into the in the playoffs. I mean, we had a few little moments, didn't we, towards the end of Plymouth, and then obviously the great win against Middlesbrough when we needed it. We needed it, didn't we? We had to win that game. It was like win the game or your chance you don't go into the playoffs. You don't go to the playoffs probably. Good performance, solid, looked really proper, and then obviously into the tough one.
Well, I think in the running we started to play like I wanted us to play. Specifically, I remember the home games like West Brom here. We would get
very good.
Middlesbrough that last game, and even Luton. Easy with hindsight, but Luton and Plymouth. Looking back, they happen. I remember after Luton in the dressing room, and we had Middlesbrough the following week, and that's sort of now do or die in playoff term. And I remember the lads, and a few spoke up. Joel being one of them. And Joel wasn't always playing, but he spoke up really, really positively after. It's easy now to say, but that gave me a good feeling into Borough, and then the boys played at Borough as we knew we started to be able to, and then now looking back now, the semi-final which we lost was meant to be. For me, I'm saying from my opinion, maybe that was meant to be, and where we were at as a group. And a couple of people said it to me. A couple of people really close to me said it to me afterwards. Maybe it's not the worst thing. It's not easy to hear when you're just mourning a defeat.
No,
I couldn't see it then. But what I did think is that we played really well in the games, and that really sort of frustrated me because I felt for the lads in the dressing room after the away game. It was like I could see all their faces. It was like I didn't know. I felt like they did.
I remember it because I came. Obviously, it was that one hurt. Obviously, I'd been through the one at Luton. That was early on in my. That was like a Brucey bonus, if you want. I know we lost the penalty shootout, but I thought, well, here we go. That was a great experience. I guess we'll go again. I've not really had a moment to get involved. Then the Man United one was, as you say, it was 3-0 down. I was out the door, and then suddenly the whole world went into some crazy different world. This one was just a bit harder because it was. I knew how well we were playing, We'd sort of, given one away at home, which unfortunately played really well away under very difficult circumstances. Quite hostile, I thought, the environment, and got right to that nitty-gritty end of it, and then the volcano of the Sunderland fans. I was sitting there, it was just shaking, and I thought, oh my God. I remember coming down, I saw the fans, they were very I mean, you were upset, I think, at that moment.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you were, but it hurt the way it went, right?
Well, yeah, I hate losing at the best of times, but then that's what it is. But I don't know when it kicked in, but I had a real sense of pride about how they took on the second leg.
Yeah.
I mean, we controlled the first, and we gave away just a couple of goals that we shouldn't have done, but the way they took that on, we were the team that went there and grabbed the game, and extra time we were trying, and so I kind of loved them for that. So when I got over that pain of it, it was quite quick really for me in the end. It was,
for me, I guess too. I say, okay, we go again. So here we go. Sunderland have their moment, and obviously they went on to get into the, snatch it against Sheffield United and get up into the Premier League. And I guess we had our reset moment. So how did you feel going in? Obviously you had a pre-season, and you knew what you were dealing with then. Obviously, we knew what we were going to do probably a bit in the marketplace. Were you optimistic? Did you think it was going to be? I guess maybe I'll start. I think I thought we'd be around the top 6, maybe hopefully in the top 3-4. Get into that position where we should hopefully get a home game and a playoff was which we hadn't had, and I think it's in the last second leg of the playoff. And I always think it's easier to have one at home when it really matters rather than one in the cauldron. So that was my expectation. I thought we were in a good place. I felt good about the situations. I didn't really think much about it. I don't know. Where were you in it?
Probably about the same as you. You might be slightly more optimistic when you say third and fourth. And I'm not putting the lads down. It's the last thing I'll do now. But probably my job is to be a little bit glass half empty at times, because you're always going, we've got push, and you're sizing up the parachute team. There's one more with Sheffield United that are still, and then you're looking at Wrexham and being, you can overanalyze that stuff, and you can view it. And I probably thought, if we can get what felt was near on not the perfect season, but really maximise ourselves, I thought, we can make the playoffs. I'm scared of that, but I was probably around where you were. What was good is that we kept the players we wanted to keep. There's no doubt that was crucial, and obviously we have to go into the detail of that, but we managed to do that. They wanted to stay, didn't they? It was just they had opportunities that were exciting for them, right? And that was the issue we had to address. But you were adamant, and you're rightly adamant, that we weren't going to go where we wanted to go if we traded our players to our competitors. But if I'm not going to name names, obviously, but if I look at some of the players, of course it's your best players the teams want, right?
Of course it
and
is.
I can look at that and go, would we have got to where we have got to now without those players? No, that's my realistic coach's head going, they're hugely important players in whatever position you're talking about. So that was crucial. And we know I felt we went in thin. You would sort of say, good, everyone's involved. We had that chat a lot. My concern was, if we get too many injuries in different areas, it would really affect us. I did have that concern. Fortunately, in that first half of the season, once it started, that we know now, when we had one injury, we rarely had two in the same area. We kind of might have had Brandon out for a bit, and then maybe Rudy out, but Brandon was back in. And it managed to look after itself there. So people were all involved at the top of the pitch and all contributors. So we didn't get too stressed at that part. That was my worry. Had we got enough options in attacking areas? But in the end, as I say, we managed to get through that. But I like the fact we kept the boys together. Obviously, when you look back, we recruited, and Rushy specifically has been, and that was always the one we looked at.
That's the one we said we had to do, and we got that one. Right.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't buy him, but we got him in the club.
Yeah.
I think that was a big moment just to ensure we had that for the season, and back four, having that sort of goalkeeper behind you, I think is critical. And we talked about that and got that done. So we went on that amazing run, right? And when we're top of the league by lots of points, nobody's going, my goodness, that wasn't. How do you feel about that at that moment?
I feared. If that gap ever starts to get eaten up. I did. No, we had a great pre-season. Let's come back to that quickly.
You said that. Why was it such a good pre-season?
It was because we had nicely challenging games.
Yeah.
We had a great week in Portugal where they really trained hard, the boys.
Yeah, you worked them hard. I was there.
We pushed them, and we were really looking forward to pushing them. I love that week in pre-season. Once you're refreshed and you get out there and you can really, you don't have to worry in the first week too much about tactics in Portugal. You do a little bit in the afternoons, you have a couple of patterns and bits and bobs and team shape stuff, but more of it is I want to see you sweat. I want to see you suffer a bit, within reason, obviously.
Yeah.
And they did that. And in the challenging games, the game against Betis here, I liked us. We had the game against St. Pauli here.
Yeah.
Again, I liked us.
Yeah.
Levels, that we and I like that. So I went into the season at that point with more confidence about what we're going to look like.
Yeah.
And then we went on that run. Had a couple of draws early, didn't we? So it was like, okay.
We did start with 0-0. I always think some of the best rounds. I'm a golfer, so best rounds of golf start with a double bogey or something.
Right.
You say, because all the Shaka, drew 0-0. I can relax now. Boom. I don't know. It wasn't quite like that. We drew 0-0, and then obviously we went on some high-scoring, exciting games, didn't we?
I think from our point of view, the work we did in the summer was, how can we concede less? In simple terms, we conceded too many, and we specifically conceded against teams in the bottom half of the table. I think it was the bottom 8 or something. We showed a stat to the boys. We conceded 2 against Oxford twice, 3 against Plymouth. Like these numbers racked up, and we're like, that can't be happening now. That's not coaching, because if that was coaching, everyone could do this job. Go, don't concede against the bottom 8, and they go, oh, thanks, boss, we'll do that. Do you know what I mean? It's not, but it was good to set the tone that we're going to make sure we're better. And then there's lots of things to do. It's how you high press and keep them there. It's how you defend your box, the most critical thing. Yeah. And we work a lot on that. So we sort of analysed that, and straight away I could see we felt better with that. And then the other thing that was in possession was, we know we can get Grimesy down and control and go wide and cross, and we'd scored the most headed goals in Europe. Yeah. So let's not lose that. But can we score more when we win it back in the middle of the pitch or when we're in transition? Because look at us, we've got Haji, Ellis, Brandon, Rudy, their front, there is speed and power to maximise it. And in those early games, the lads really bought it. We called it play forward, run forward. We've not really created the wheel there, not reinvented the wheel, but it's a simple term of so we train
through the lines, boom.
Yeah, quick. And I like watching that. I like watching control and push and cross, but I also like that.
Yeah. Play it differently.
Yeah, and like QPR was one of those, I think 2 or 3 of those 7 goals were exactly that.
Yeah. Well, that was the day, obviously, we got our hands on the stadium, wasn't it? Yeah. And I remember phoning you the night before. Yeah. And actually, I'd phoned you the night before, and I thought it was done, and it wasn't done. So I thought, gee, I've just phoned Frank.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, it was like, I was waiting for it to get done, and it was like, and knowing what I knew, like, I hope this does get done, because I've just told a few people, and they're all probably, ready for a bit of action, and then obviously did get done, and then, it was a weird day that. I mean, obviously, putting the club and the stadium together was, I knew I wanted to do that from the get-go. Whether you could ever do that was not sure, because you need somebody to partake in the other side of the transaction. I was talking to Matt about it, and he, because you told the players in the morning, did you, before the game that
it had gone off a bit on socials, I think.
Had it, right?
Someone mentioned it in the staff office, and then I did tell them I addressed it, and I used it a bit.
You used it.
The crowd are going to be so excited at this, which they were. Obviously. I had the feeling. You must have got a good feeling off the back of that. I mean,
I just, it was like, wow. I did feel proud, because that was a hard one. I could never have guaranteed it, and I knew that if we coming in and playing somebody else's stadium, and you can't do this, and they won't let you train then, and all these things that are really not helpful for being together, togetherness. So I knew I really wanted to get it done, and I've been trying to get it done for a while, and got it done. And I guess, I don't know, for me it was a great thing, because I knew for the broader club we needed to be joined up. But I guess the players obviously didn't let us down that day. But obviously since then, has it felt different that we own it? Does it feel like walking in here that you're not yours? We'll go there, we'll train in the morning, don't worry about it, you can do what you want now slightly.
Yeah, the pitch is better now.
The pitch is better now.
That's a serious point. But there's definitely, I call it subconscious, but a feeling. It's not. It was on that day. It was a line in the sand. Like wow, and I think the fans probably felt as much as anyone, because they've lived this journey, and the players maybe haven't so much. But I have to say, these players, this is what's been the great relationship between fans and players. It's a two-way thing. You said that players wanting to be here and stuff. Yeah. And I think that probably heightened that at that point in the season. and I understand it. Everyone wants to play for a football club that is together, and the gesture of doing it alone, from our point of view, I think it was a big deal. And that's kind of grown. There's a feeling of stability more from it, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So let's go into because we obviously were where we are. We had the great run. I remember we all had our discussions into the January window, and I think our discussion was studs in, wasn't it? Wasn't there our little moment?
That was like the end of it.
Was it?
We had some
No,
discussions.
we said studs.
I
I said studs in. You said absolutely, and I think you probably got a little bit nervous that the studs weren't going quick enough.
You had your moulds on and I had my metal studs.
Yeah. I remember
it.
you going, well, I don't remember studs going in that lightly. If
you were in your slippers at one point.
Yeah. I mean, that was, there was a timing moment on all of those things. But listen, I was aware of that moment. You were aware of the moment. It was the moment to make sure we had the.
We were in the middle of a tough run, right?
Yeah, we were. Yeah.
There was clear fatigue. We'd had that bit of flu and illness in the camp, and I saw that, and I worried, and I felt like we needed to bolster the squad, not for players to come in and help us and play, or push the ones. And we're waiting for Tats specifically is in my head, because Tats struggled with the illness, and you could see it.
Yes, he did. Yeah, he did.
So and I was just like, my feeling in honesty was that we've got this far. I know we'd had a funny patch, but we're still where we are. Let's push. And I felt that I needed to articulate to that. This is what I feel like pushing is, and we have those chats.
Yeah, you put your serious face on, didn't you? I remember you giving the serious face.
Yeah, I know. I need to, otherwise if I joke around at the time.
Listen. I think you're right. And listen, I was aware of that. And obviously we got Frank Onyeka in, didn't we? Who we'd identified as somebody who would really reinforce us in that middle of the pitch, where maybe we've been a bit, just give us that bit of steel. And he came in and made an immediate impact, didn't he? Which was great to see. And so we got the wingers in, and we got that done in a way. I was relieved we got it done. Obviously, it was our moment to go hard, because unlike you, it's like you don't get many where you're having this sort of move in the championship when you're on parachute payments. So I think we were aligned. Maybe the speed of the studs in, I was a little slower than you, but we got the studs in the end, right?
We did. The week that really made me think, and it's easy with hindsight again, but the week into Middlesbrough after the QPR, we had, I think it was a Monday night, so we had like 8 days, 9 days, a bit longer than usual. And we trained with 10v10 pretty much every day, and we trained off the ball because I didn't want them to come here and play, because they were popping teams. They were beating Sheffield United the week before, and I was like, these boys are going well. 6 in a row, I think. Yeah, they were on a great run, just jumped us, everyone's talking, and we were going to bottle it, and we had a great week's training with the 10v10. Well,
I remember we spoke, and you said to me, wow, this has been a great week training. And I said, that's great, because obviously we've got a hell of a game coming up. But you did say that, and you don't say that lightly.
No, I felt it, I meant it, and it was great that the lads were really buying into it, because asking Bobby and Joel played that game, asking them to go 20 yards in there to jump to their people that play between the lines. It's a big ask. You've got to go all in, or if you go halfway in, then they're going to move you and play through you. And they did that, and the energy of that performance, the energy of the night, I think it brought everyone's confidence back, right?
I think that night, I mean, it was the moment, wasn't it? It felt like a massive game. It had the sort of smoke and the pyros and the feel of it. It felt like, and did you see the drone footage?
Yeah.
It felt like it was, I would say people felt like we were in Europe. We were the European one, it is slightly. And it was just, and then the performance, to first half, straight into the, you're coming here and we're not having it.
No.
It was epic.
So it changed the mindset, I think.
Yeah.
And then we went on that run, I don't know, was it 7 out of 8 or something like that, and just amassed wins, which we've done now a few times in my time. And what it does in this league, when you go 3 points, 3 points, 3 points, it starts to look, everything was good, confidence was good.
Yeah, it looks great, just feel it. And then we went down to Swansea, didn't we? And, I thought that performance there was, I came out of that thinking, okay, thanks for that.
I remember you.
I just said, that was a champion's performance. I mean, they've been on a great run.
Yeah.
Tough at home to go down there, and not good track record.
No.
Shut it down. Thanks for coming. And then they came out second half, tried to limit the damage. It's like we've conquered that moment of seeing us to the top of the pile. So
that was a moment for me. What I loved about that game, we went 3-0 because we were clinical, bang, bang, bang with the goals, and maybe they could have scored 1 or 2, right?
Yeah.
But at half time, when I said to the players, right, and I got a couple of clips in the dressing room of us in a good block, where there were no spaces between for them to run through because they had 8 sort of running through. When lads, this is what the second half's got to look like, and the lads did it, and they just nullified the game. Like you said, I thought, oh, they dealt with the game there.
Yeah, they dealt with it, shut it down.
Yeah, and
it was comfortable. Just we were away, and
yeah,
it just felt like, you know,
it was the moment I thought we'd do it in terms of promotion. I felt there clearly we were getting closer, but we still had a few things to navigate. But I looked at that performance and thought we're going to.
So you look at the 18 months then. It's probably, you know, gone way above your. Well, your expectations will be what your expectations were. The lifestyles worked well. Allowed you to have the balance. I think you talked about that in the EFL award when you took the Manager of the Year award. I agree with you. I think work-life balance is critical. If it's too extreme, you can do it when you're younger, maybe, but you know, as you go through your journey, it just becomes a bit too much when you're trying to enjoy moments as well as be very intense. I don't know. That's how I sort of thought about it.
Yeah.
So in a way, it's worked out. Well, it's worked out for me. Beautiful. Thanks very much. You know, look at that. We've got the trophy sitting there, gleaming in the sunlight with the club colours on.
Yeah.
And no champagne in it.
No, I know. It's all, well, I don't know who drank all that.
Oh, stop it. That was embarrassing.
No, this is the culmination of a lot of hard work, isn't it? And it's still a little bit surreal.
Yeah.
You know, because maybe
feels a bit third party for me slightly. Yeah. It's like over there.
Yeah, but great, because that's good, because then when something pops up on the telly or you drive in here early and you see champions, it hits again.
I saw that today when I walked out. So there's some cars with some colours on, and they said champions. It's on the screen still that they only bring out for the games, but it was left there. Champions going back to the stadium, the stadium that we have now. It felt good, to be honest with you. I have to say, coming in today. So
job well done.
Congrats to you, mate.
Yes, and you.